Hello and welcome to this special full moon meditation. It's that time of the month again. And if this is your very first time tuning in and you've maybe not done one of our full moon meditations before, the lovely Kieron Morgan, who's with me now, comes on every single, hello, Kieron, comes on every single month to take us into the full moon. And as I've said before, I really love these meditations, and I know so many of you love them too. So, Kieron, welcome. Tell us about, it's obviously interesting time now. We're coming up to the harvest moon, I believe, which is on the 17th of September.
It is, yeah. It's and in the previous meditation we did, we talked a bit about harvest as well, because we were talking about gathering berries and things from the hedgerows and that type of thing. But this is, the harvest moon, the corn moon as well. So it is that time of the big harvesting. And where I am in Somerset, there's we can't move for fields being harvested at the moment when it's not pouring it down with rain. From a sort of spiritual point of view, it's very much a time of looking forwards and backwards. We have this full moon now. We're also coming up to the equinox, autumn equinox, and that's a balance between day and night. The days are as long as the nights are, a balance of those things. So it's a really lovely time to be able to look back at what we've achieved and enjoy that. We tend not to do that so much, especially those of us in the spiritual community. We tend to sort of play down our achievements over the year. But it's a really great opportunity to take some time and go, no, I did that and I did it well and I was good at that and I'm proud of this. And to be able to also then prepare for the change of seasons, going into autumn, into winter as well. And it's not always winter, because our sort of social calendar goes, as soon as it's not hot anymore, then it's winter time and all the shops are going to be full of winter clothes and all that type of stuff. It's a long process. We have to honor those different changes and shifts and moves. And there's a long way to go till winter, really. But it's about preparing these things, from a farming point of view. We sort of gather one crop, but we also preparing the ground for others, preparing the way. So we still have preparations to make for our own sort of spiritual expansion and move. And so that's what our meditation this month will all be about. We'll also be connecting to and working with a sort of embodiment of that idea of harvest, which is an ancient being called John Barleycorn, who has been connected with and worked with for a long, long time, for as long as we've been arable farmers, really. And he's the embodiment of the barley. And there's stories and songs aplenty about him being gathered and sown and beaten and killed, but also is reborn over and over again, and becoming the essence of all that's good, not least of all for the beer and the grain that goes into into beer and into whiskey and that type of thing. So it's about the challenges that we go through, and those types of things. We are sort of distilling a version of ourselves, if you will, and acknowledging those things and using them to the best of our abilities.
How interesting. And because the autumn equinox, I believe, is on, it says here September the 22nd or 23rd in the Northern Hemisphere. And do you know what? It always reminds me of when I was at school. This is always the time when you used to do the, what's the thing called where you give all the
Harvest Festival.
Yes, Harvest Festival. That's
when you're supposed to give lots of plentiful things to those that haven't got so much, but you end up just rummaging in the back of the cupboard for a tin of beans that's out of date.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, I remember that at school. I'm glad you got a good memory. Well, it sounds absolutely beautiful, and it's, I think you're very right. I think when we get to this time of the year, before you know it, the Christmas trees will be in the shops and everything. And I think it's about stopping to, I think you're right. Take stock of what you've achieved and what you've done. And I do think there's merit in what you're saying about us in the spiritual community, because I'm just as guilty with that as anyone. Beautiful. Well, Kieron, without further ado, please introduce this month's full moon meditation.
Okie dokie. So everyone, get yourselves nice and comfortable, sit back and relax, take a few breaths, and prepare to really have a good rummage in your memory banks for this year, for what we have achieved, a cornucopia of gifts that we've been had bestowed upon us, and prepare the way for moving into the end of the energy of this year and into the energy of the next. Close your eyes then. Relax into the space. Breathe a few longer, slower, deeper breaths. Listen to the sounds around you and the gentle sound of the breeze as it dances through the fields of corn and barley. It sounds a little like soft and gentle waves upon a beach. So as these sounds rise and fall, let them gently move you. Let them gently wash away the day to help you relax and be fully present in the here and now. In this space, call to your guardians and guides, your familiars, your energetic team, if you know them or don't. Invite them into this space to help you in this time. I will call to my brothers and sisters of the Dragon Collective to be with us, surround us and protect us on this journey. Dragons of earth and sea and sky, dragons of fire around us fly. Dragons of night and those of gold, come close and let your wings unfold. Dragons of love and those of change, be with us now, then rearrange to dragons of change and those of love. As below then, so above. Dragons one and dragons all, come close and heed this dragon's call. And as the dragons come close, as they spiral and swirl and dance and move around us, they bring forward the soft and gentle dragon's breath, which slowly dissolves the 3D reality around us, the walls and ceiling and floor. This melts away softly and gently, replaced by the spiraling, swirling mists of the dragon's breath of Ratanan. And the Dragon Collective, softly and slowly and gently, help us to take flight up into the clouds. As we fly with them, as we move and swirl and spiral and dance in the clouds, we become free of the everyday trials and tribulations, our doubts and worries of the day. We can fly, peaceful and calm. And after a short while, this spiraling dance brings us downwards. And as the mists of Ratanan start to disappear and dissipate, we find ourselves walking upon a soft, gentle meadow path. It is night, and Mother Moon's face is full, slightly shadowed, deep orange. She rises just above the forest in front of us. And all around us has a soft, gentle golden glow. The flowers in the meadow are starting to wilt and fade, their seeds prevalent and ripe. The cow parsley is bunched, The last of the daisy petals start to fall and drop. The sunflower, though, stands tall and strong, hoping for another warm day in the morning, as the last of Father Sun's rays set behind us. The soft, gentle walk up the hill through the meadow leads us to a gateway, an old-fashioned 5-bar gate at the top of a hill. We can lean upon this gate and look down to the beautiful landscape below us. Bathed in Mother Moon's strangely golden glow, field upon field of corn, of barley, of wheat, of maize, all gently dancing and moving in the breeze. In the closest corner of the field, what at first glance appears to be a scarecrow stands limp, broad-brimmed straw hat covering their face. You are drawn to this figure, and as you move through the gate, making sure to close it behind you, you walk through this field of barley, gently running your hands over the ears and sheaths, like you're in Gladiator. You come to stand before this scarecrow, though there is nothing scary about them. And you are more than a little surprised when, after a short while, they lift their head to reveal a face. A kind but worn face. A plaid shirt and old trousers. They detach themselves from the stake holding them in the ground and stand before you. This is John Barleycorn. This is a representation of the ancient energy of the crops. He shakes off the shirt and the trousers given to him by the farmer and expands to a huge and powerful being, strong yet kind. John Barleycorn represents the wheel of the year, the birth and death, the seed, the crop, the harvest, the transformations and changes that everything goes throughout the cycle of the year. He emanates an energy of this transformative energy, this reflection and renewal, for he himself is born, grows, matures, is cut down, beaten to separate the wheat from the chaff or the barley from the chaff, the seeds. Some of those seeds are then taken for bread to blend into beers or be made as bread, and others planted again. He does not speak, but he reaches out a hand to take you, and you walk through the fields soft and gently, the breeze dancing and moving the sheaths. His thoughts are yours. He guides you to think back through this energetic year. His year finishes at the end of October and begins again in November. So think back through the last 10 or 11 months, for all the trials and tribulations you have been through, all the challenges you have overcome, and all the positive energies and learning experiences you have had. Happy times, happy thoughts, laughter, love and joy. If there have been losses, fears, sadness, acknowledge them too, for they are an important part of the wheel of life. From within him, John Barleycorn brings forth from his heart a woven, spiraling shell-like object, a cornucopia, a symbol of fruitfulness, of harvest, of plenty, of abundance. He gifts it to you. It is empty, but you know instantly it is yours to fill. Take some time walking through the fields. Think of those things we have just spoken of, and each one of them will be represented by a favourite fruit or favourite food, or a sign and symbol that represent to you those trials and tribulations, those positive experiences, those losses and gains that you have been through in this last year. Take some time then to fill this cornucopia, to acknowledge those things peacefully, calmly, and with great love for yourself and respect for the process. I will leave you to do this in the capable hands of John, and in a while my voice will return. after you have taken the time you need, and the cornucopia is full to overflowing, John guides you to a space within these crops, a crop circle. Within it, signs and symbols and sigils, the infinity loop, representations of the sun and moon. All of these where the corn and the barley are flattened. Mother Moon is high above us now, more electric blue than orange, but still slightly dimmed due to the eclipse. She still shines down upon us with love, with grace and beauty. You sit in the center of this space with John at your side, and his loving energy helps you. You pick out and tip out the contents of the cornucopia, and nourish yourself with those positive energies, those happy times, those laughs, those spaces where you've learnt and grown. And where there are trials and sadness and worries and fear, take those fruits, those seeds, and plant them in this field. With the intent of releasing that sadness and fear, with the intent of learning those lessons if there are lessons to be learned. To remember and honour those things that need to be remembered and honoured. Others you will eat. You will chew upon the rich flesh of those fruits, to be energized, fulfilled, and the energetic cornucopia will grow in your heart. Happiness and joy, reflection and honesty, beauty and grace. Acknowledge yourself. Love yourself. Find beauty and grace in yourself. While the loving energy and light of Mother Moon shines down upon you. After you have eaten all that is to be eaten and planted all that is to be planted, you return to the center of the crop circle. You lie down upon the blanket there. Rest your head in your arms and stare up at Mother Moon. Give thanks for the turning of the wheel, for the balance of the equinox, for the changing of the seasons, for the opportunities, those opportunities that have been and gone in this year, and others that are yet to come. And under the loving gaze of Mother Moon, protected by John Barleycorn, with the gentle sound of the breeze lulling you, you gently and softly fall to sleep, filled with energy and love, sated appetite, happy and content. Soft and gently you fall to sleep in that world. And as you do, as you fall to sleep in that world, the spiraling, swirling mists of Ratanan start to return. The dancing, spiraling dragon's breath. And you are drawn soft and gently from that space and place back into the here and now. Softly and gently let the energies recede, let the images fade. Breathe a little more deeply. Become more aware of your fingers and toes, your body. You can start to move them. Give thanks to the guardians and guides, known and unknown, said and unsaid, seen and unseen. Imagine some energetic roots spiraling down into the earth to bring you back into the here and now. Grounded and protected, calm and relaxed. As soon as you're ready, but without rushing, open your eyes and return.